Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
This morning, troopers are searching for 4 people after a high-speed chase across multiple counties. Coming up, how this all started with the stolen car.
And we had rain overnight last night. You may have slept right through it. It is out of here. We're looking at clear skies now. We have a dry day for the next few days, but Saturday we're still looking at a cold rain. I'll show you what to expect where you are.
And the Wolfpack pulling off a win after last-second shot, beating Notre Dame, extending their 8-game winning streak. We'll tell you when the Pack is back in action. Look at that sweet shot.
Hey, DJ Burns.
Yep.
Getting it done.
Yeah.
Finger roll.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us here in the 8 o'clock hour on Fox 50. I'm Ken Smith.
I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, thanks for spending the early part of your Thursday with us. Yeah, sunshine coming out there. It's a little bit warmer than yesterday. Headed towards the weekend, though, some changes coming. Elizabeth Gardner with a quiet day today.
Yeah, look at this. We are looking at clear skies right now as we take a live look from our tower camera, looking off toward downtown Raleigh, looking westward. 41 is our temperature. Yesterday, we started off in the 20s, so we're a good 10 degrees warmer right now than we were this time yesterday. Our chilly spot has been Southern Pines, 33 still, 38 Goldsboro, 38 South Hill, 36 Roxborough. Our warm spots right here in the Triangle at 41. It'll be a mild afternoon with temperatures climbing into the low 50s. Lots of sunshine, nice quiet day today. May become breezy as we get closer to lunchtime, but our winds so far this morning have been fairly calm. We continue to talk about Saturday and our potential for some light freezing rain in our northwest counties. The new runs of the computer models that have been coming in this morning show less and less of that, and in pretty good agreement that we are looking at a very slim chance of that at all. Looking at potentially Danville, Greensboro westward for a little bit of light patchy freezing rain. The mountains will likely end up with a wintry mix, but it looks like for us, it's really just going to be a cold rain with a very small window of freezing rain potential, maybe up around Roxborough. Let's take a look. This is a look at our computer model run that shows where we can see freezing rain, and you can see it is outside of our viewing area, which is great news. Still not going to be a great day on Saturday. We're looking at, again, just a very tiny chance, a lesser chance this morning than we were looking at yesterday of that freezing rain. We're not going to see any travel issues here, but as you travel toward the mountains or other parts of the country, we're looking at the potential for this to be a messy situation. I'll show you that coming up. Brian?
Here at 8:02, we're watching traffic building this morning, especially on the south side of Raleigh, with some pretty heavy delays starting to show up now on 40 westbound, heading away from South Saunders Street out toward Gorman Street. Also getting reports of a crash in the past couple of minutes on 40 westbound, right around Wade Avenue there on the west side of Raleigh, seeing a little bit of a backup showing up on the sensors. We had a report of a crash on 440 westbound, right around Newbern Avenue. We are seeing a little bit of a delay there as you head toward the Brentwood Road interchange. Overall, about a 5-minute delay heading from 87 out to Wade Avenue. Most of that is between Newbern Avenue and Capitol Boulevard, possibly related to that crash. We'll keep our eyes on that, let you know how it's developing. A minor crash over on the east side of downtown Raleigh, Newbern Avenue near Big Falls Drive, which is not too far from Pool Road. Not seeing any big delays showing up on the sensor readings there. In Durham, 885 southbound, a little busy heading down toward Cornwallis Road, and you'll notice some backups showing up there on the south side of Durham and also on the north side of Cary there on 40 eastbound. Those are sun glare delays, pretty typical for this point in the morning commute on a sunny day. There's a live look at I-40 at Barbie Road in Durham. Looking back to the east, you can see the sunshine up there. About a 4-minute delay through South Durham on 40 eastbound. Then from 540 to Wade Avenue, you're looking at about a 5-minute backup heading toward Raleigh from the airport.
Brian, thanks for that. This is a story that we have been following all through the overnight hours. 5 people led troopers on a chase that started in Apex in Wake County and ended in Chatham County.
Yeah, WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joining us now from the Highway Patrol headquarters on Blue Ridge Road. So many layers to this story, Kelsey, so help us sort it out.
Ken, this morning, the folks here at Highway Patrol are still working to piece all of this together. So I'll walk you through how everything started. So first, the suspects stole a 2011 Kia Forte out of Johnston County. That's according to troopers. Then they took that car and used it to lead police on a high-speed chase. The chase started in Apex and ended on O'Kelly Chapel Road in Chatham County. At that point, they jumped out of the car and ran into the woods nearby. One of those suspects, a minor, was caught and is behind bars this morning. We're still working to find out whether the 4 other people involved have been arrested. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Also, a person was hit and killed on Hammond Road, and we are working to learn more about the person who was hit and what caused the crash. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. The Raleigh Police Crash Reconstruction Team shut down the northbound lanes of Hammond Road right at I-40 for over 4 hours while they work to figure out how this happened. Just in South Raleigh here, we're asking if the driver of the car will face any charges.
A house caught fire around midnight in Sampson County. This was the scene on River Road when the WRAL breaking news tracker arrived earlier this morning. Several fire departments responded, including Clinton, Taylor's Bridge, and Turkey. Smoke could be seen coming from the back of that house. We're working to confirm whether anyone was hurt. Firefighters are also working to determine what started that fire. Now, with the risk for heavy rain in the forecast over the next few days, crews are lowering the water levels at Lake Johnson. City officials will lower the lake by around 2 feet to reduce flooding concerns along Walnut Creek. Water will be pulled from the lake until about noon tomorrow. Lake Johnson's water level can be adjusted again after Saturday's rain if necessary.
More people are in the hospital with flu than COVID in North Carolina hospitals. This is for the second straight week now. More than 1,000 people were hospitalized with the flu during the last week of the year. That's the highest number in over 3 years, and up almost 50% from the previous week. COVID cases are still high in our state as well. 932 people are hospitalized with COVID, the most since late January of 2023, and up 30% week over week. Wastewater data from around the state is also up 8% and over 50% higher than 2 weeks ago. Doctors say the best way to stop the spread of illness is to stay home if you have any symptoms. Updates now to the search for a missing boater on the Cape Fear River. We're told rescue crews found a body yesterday. Police are not releasing the person's name. Investigators say the water was rough as those crews searched through the water in Lee County. The water level was 5 to 7 feet above normal. 5 people disappeared in that water near Letts Landing in Lee County last Thursday. 4 of those were found alive.
Well, new documents unsealed in the Jeffrey Epstein case, with more to come in the next few weeks. A federal judge unsealing hundreds of court documents related to the convicted sex offender. The documents include the names of more than 150 people, from Epstein's alleged victims to his employees to other people with only a passing connection with the scandal. He previously socialized with former Presidents Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, as well as Britain's Prince Andrew and other rich and powerful people. A spokesperson for the federal court says the documents will come out on a rolling basis.
A man is in custody this morning in Wayne County after he resisted arrest. Goldsboro police say they got a call that someone stole a cell phone and may be armed. And when they got to the apartment, they surrounded it, knocked on the door, and that's when Tahim Leach jumped from the second-floor window to try to run away from them. An officer caught up with Leach and got the gun away from him, and Leach is charged with assault on a government official and resisting a public officer. They went there in the first place because he was wanted for warrants of breaking and entering, interfering with a monitoring device, and robbery with a dangerous weapon.
Well, the Wolfpack is on an 8-game winning streak after a last-second shot, giving the Pack a win over Notre Dame. It was a slow start for NC State, though, down by double digits and putting up only 26 points at the half. The team trailed the Fighting Irish for the entirety of the game, but pulled ahead with just 0.6 seconds left on the clock with that sweet shot right there, giving the Pack a 54-52 win. Look at it again. Swish. NC State is back in action Saturday afternoon when it hosts Virginia at PNC Arena.
Coming up on 10 minutes after 8, there are new developments in a murder mystery in Texas. Up next, what we are learning about 2 men arrested in connection to the death of a pregnant teen and her boyfriend.
Also ahead, a psychologist offers insights on how ultra-processed foods could potentially play a role in depression.
And we're looking at a dry day, pleasant with a high of 51. We're colder tomorrow. And then, of course, Saturday, we're watching the potential for some rain and even some freezing rain. I'll show you why our chances of freezing rain are starting to go down.
Oh, this is a beautiful live look here. 8:12 this morning. Right now, Fenton in Cary. Beautiful ice. Christmas tree still up. It can stay up as long as it wants as you watch WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. You can kind of see right over the theater there, the sunshine, and Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with more examples of that.
We saw rain overnight last night, but it was in and out quickly. We're going to be left with a gorgeous day today. Lots of sunshine. It's a little milder this morning, and we'll see a near normal high this afternoon. Goldsboro looking pretty, so is Apex. Chapel Hill, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant, and of course, our newsroom there in Fayetteville, seeing sunshine everywhere. That system has moved out, so we start to follow the next one, and it's coming across the Four Corners. As it slides eastward, it's going to pick up a lot of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. It has enough cold air associated with it that as it moves across the country, it is going to bring wintry weather, which could cause airport delays in places as it moves across the country the next few days. It arrives here on Saturday and then moves northward to bring snow to the northeast. But for us, it's looking less and less likely that we'll see any winter weather with this. The mountains definitely looking like they'll start with some wintry mix on Saturday morning, even Friday night, but then maybe changing over to rain. Freezing rain looks less likely for us this morning. We're just starting to see the atmosphere warm a little bit more. But again, some travel issues across the country, especially to our west and to our north. Our temperature Saturday morning at 4 a.m., 31 in Roxborough and South Hill, 32 in Durham and Raleigh. We push that ahead, and you can see how quickly those temperatures change. By the time the precipitation arrives, we're bouncing up above freezing pretty quickly. There is still maybe a tiny chance that in Roxborough there could be a little bit of a glaze, but it's not going to be a problem. It won't cause power outages. It's not going to cause slick roads. It's just going to be too warm for that. I say warm, I mean it's still going to be a really chilly. It's going to be one of those miserable cold rain kind of a days. Now we'll warm up a little bit during the afternoon, especially down to the south. We may climb on up to nearly 60, but most of us are going to feel pretty cold and wet on Saturday, and it will be an all-day rain. We're looking at probably around 3/4 of an inch to an inch, maybe a little above that in a few spots. That's not enough rain to cause any flooding. We'll take a look at our potential for freezing rain. A 5% chance of a 1/10 of an inch is outside of our viewing area now. Now, earlier, it was across Raleigh and westward, but our new update this morning pulls it completely out of the viewing area, which is great news. The mountains, though, could end up seeing an inch of snow in the morning Saturday before it changes over to rain. It's looking like Pittsburgh, New York City, Boston, all going to see some snow out of this, which, again, could cause some airport delays. We're checking futurecasts for Tuesday. We have a big system that comes through. We could see 2 to 4 inches of rain on top of the rain that we see on Saturday. Could cause some flooding issues for us. So that's going to be really our next big weather maker. It'll be a warm one, 66 degrees. We're not looking at anything frozen, but there could actually be some thunderstorms on Tuesday. So as it gets closer, we'll keep updating you, Brian.
Indeed, you will. It is now 8:15 as we take a look at traffic. It looks like that earlier crash reported on 40 westbound right around Wade Avenue has cleared. We're not seeing any big problems out there. Maybe a little bit of brake tapping as you head away from Chapel Hill Road out toward Wade Avenue. And there's a report of some sort of hazard in the road out there, but it shouldn't have a big effect on your commute through that area. I want to take you to 440 westbound. We have that report of a crash between New Bern Avenue and Capitol Boulevard, although the delays have really eased up in the past couple of minutes, now seeing only a 2-minute slowdown overall from 87 to Wade Avenue. A lot of these crashes you see on the map have cleared in the past few minutes. You can see one there on the south side of Raleigh just cleared with that live update. Still watching a little bit of a backup on the south side of Raleigh, 40 westbound right around Gorman Street. But once you get to US 1, things are looking pretty good. Coming in from Apex on US 1 northbound, a little bit of congestion between 55 and 1010 Road. We're also watching sun glare delays as we take a look at that live camera on I-40 at Old Reedy Creek Road between Aviation Parkway and Harrison Avenue. Eastbound traffic heading away from us. Now in South Durham, we're seeing some significant backups with an 8-minute delay, largely due to sun glare delays between the Fayetteville Road area out toward 885. Coming in from the airport toward Raleigh, seeing only about a 2-minute slowdown.
Brian, thanks. In Texas, 2 men are in custody in connection to the murder of a pregnant teen and her boyfriend. San Antonio police arresting a 19-year-old and his father, who is accused of helping his son move the bodies. Last week, police released surveillance video asking for help identifying the 2 suspects. The bodies were found last month in a car parked near an apartment complex in San Antonio. Both victims had been shot. No information on a motive for the killings has been released as of yet.
New information out of Sacramento, where the father of a 10-year-old boy who shot and killed another 10-year-old was in court yesterday. Authorities say Arquette Davis' son got a gun from his car and fired it at the other 10-year-old this weekend. The father is legally prohibited from possessing a firearm. He's been booked on numerous weapons-related charges. His son is in a youth detention facility charged with murder. The victim's mother says the suspect was upset about losing a bicycle race. Investigators say they believe the father tried to put the gun in a nearby trash can after that shooting. One of the most serious health concerns in the U.S. is having a stroke, and that risk is even higher in winter months. Cold weather can cause high blood pressure, which is a key risk factor for strokes and heart attacks. Doctors say you can reduce your concerns while being outside by dressing in layers and keeping your blood flowing to your arms and legs.
If you have problems with the circulation to the legs, making sure that your legs are well bundled up so that there's enough circulation getting to your feet. Staying bundled up so your core temperature is higher is good. Most of it because if you're cold and you're shivering, that puts a lot of stress on the body.
And this is eye-opening. One study found 80% of strokes are preventable. You can reduce your risk by getting enough physical exercise, eating a healthy diet, and drinking less alcohol.
Well, Jeff, research continues to show how ultra-processed foods can be harmful to our health. And now another study is discovering a possible link to depression. Psychologist Dr. Susan Albers says ultra-processed foods trigger the release of dopamine in the brain, which makes us feel good. It's also why we tend to crave them. But as the study found, participants who ate a lot of ultra-processed foods, particularly foods with artificial sweeteners, were at the higher risk for developing depression. Researchers are trying to figure out why.
While there is a link between depression and ultra-processed foods, we can't say that there is a causal link. People who are depressed may reach for ultra-processed foods because they are comforting and convenient. When you are feeling depressed, you may not have the energy to shop, prepare, or cook food.
Well, Dr. Albers says if you want to cut back on ultra-processed foods, try swapping out packaged snacks for fruits, nuts, or seeds. She also suggests reading labels before buying. If it has ingredients you cannot pronounce, it's best to avoid it.
Movie news now, from awards to festivals to a new comedy in theaters this weekend. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
No one rests until this doll is back in a box.
There's no holding back Barbie. The blockbuster took home 4 trophies from the Alliance of Women Film Journalists: Best Director, Original Screenplay, Supporting Actor for Ryan Gosling, and Ensemble Cast and Casting Director. Killers of the Flower Moon also won 4 awards, including 2 for Lily Gladstone, Best Actress and Best Women's Breakthrough Performance. And The Zone of Interest was named Best Film and Best International Film.
We don't feel like we belong here sometimes.
Lena Waithe belongs at Sundance. The writer, producer, and actor is part of the just unveiled jury for this year's Sundance Film Festival. Filmmaker Mira Nair is also on the jury. All of this year's jury members have had films at Sundance in previous years. The 40th Sundance Film Festival kicks off January 18th.
The ski movie competition? Literally anyone in the industry that matters, all in the same place, competing to make the best ski movie in 72 hours.
Whoa, cool. Good luck.
No, I'm not in it.
Not until she and her friends need cash fast. Here's a look at Weak Layers, about 3 nobodies trying to prove they're somebodies. The ski comedy shreds in theaters Friday and on digital platforms February 6th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Interesting.
Some high-flying action. And then there's this. Cats and dogs living together, cats fighting for dogs, saving lives. Amazing.
Yeah, it's all happening in this story. Jeannie Most reports on the feline who put her life on the line.
6-year-old Oakley has a lovable face. She can do spins in exchange for a treat. But when she went out to do her business in the backyard of her Edmond, Oklahoma home, no amount of spinning would have saved her from the coyote that pounced if the family cat hadn't jumped in.
Is she a tough cat? Like, is she like a street cat? I mean, is she...
Yeah, she's a gangster.
Lane Dyer says Binks is a stray that he and his family take care of.
Her and Oakley hit it off pretty good from the beginning.
So when the first of 2 coyotes grabbed Oakley, it was Binks to the rescue, taking on the intruders, scaring them away, though not before Oakley suffered wounds that had blood
spouting out of her chest, unfortunately.
But with stitches and a splint, Oakley recovered a little over a month later.
And so
she yawns over the story of Binks saving her. Coyotes have become such a danger to small dogs that one owner created the coyote vest.
done?
With spikes protruding from a Kevlar vest and even
A set of coyote whiskers.
nylon bristles that at least look intimidating. But who needs a coyote vest
I think she's shown that she's not afraid of much.
when the cat has your back? Ginny Mose, CNN, New York.
How about Binks?
Binks, you know, a tough alley cat on your side. I didn't know they could take on coyotes.
Gotta love it.
Proves
Gotta love it. Well, a group of daring Massachusetts seniors are showing off their saucy side in the name of charity.
This is something. And striking. Sassy but classy, posing in a fundraising calendar. The women range in age from just under 70 to just over 90. They've been dubbed the lovely ladies of Linden Pond, and they're using their ageless beauty to raise money for the Resident Care Fund at their senior living center community. And at $20 a piece for the calendars, they've sold more than 700 of them.
I applaud these women.
There's no shame in their game. They are ready to go.
Love it.
Love it. Parents of the first person in the world to receive a partial heart transplant are sharing their story. How their toddler Owen is doing 20 months after life-saving surgery.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning at 8:26. If you're having coffee this morning, thanks for having it with us. Let's bring in meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner into our conversation. It's nice and dry now, but boy, we're in for some changes.
Oh, Saturday still looks like a soaker, but we have a couple of days before that to enjoy. Looking gorgeous here in Clinton this morning. A little bit of a light breeze. That wind is going to be picking up a little closer to lunchtime or so. It's still a little damp here in Clinton, too. We had rain that rolled through overnight last night. You could see some wet spots this morning, but all that is drying quickly. Temperatures are mostly in the 30s this morning. 33 Southern Pines, 37 Tarboro and Irwin. It is 40 in Rocky Mount and up in South Hill. Temperatures this afternoon will be in the low 50s with plenty of sunshine. Again, tomorrow is dry but colder, and Saturday is wet and chilly. Brian.
Elizabeth, we are getting our first look at a crash on I-40 westbound right around Wade Avenue. We had some earlier indication this had cleared, but obviously we have some activity there in the median, and also it looks like the center lane is blocked. So heading away from Wade Avenue, you're going to run into these backups. This particular section of I-40 that we're measuring here is from Wade Avenue to 540, seeing only a 1-minute delay. But if you're coming in from outbound Wade Avenue, joining up with 40 westbound, or coming in from the Chapel Hill Road interchange, you're going to run into more significant delays. Try to pick up 40 westbound from Harrison Avenue to get on the other side of those backups. Also look out for some sun glare delays on 40 eastbound between Fayetteville Road and 55 in South Durham.
A high-speed chase covering at least 2 counties overnight. The chase ended on O'Kelly Chapel Road in Chatham County. From there, all 5 occupants in that vehicle ran. 1 juvenile, though, was in custody and was arrested. We'll keep you updated as the search for the other 4 people continues. Jaquan Stinchcomb is facing charges of bringing a stolen gun on school campus property. We'll update his story in the next half hour here on Fox 50.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number 1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
This morning, troopers are searching for 4 people who were involved in a high-speed chase across multiple counties. Coming up, how this all started with a stolen car.
And we had rain overnight last night. You might still find some damp spots on the roads, but we're going to see a bright sunny day today. By Saturday, we see another system that'll roll through with a cold rain. I'll show you what to expect.
Agreeing on a problem doesn't mean agreeing on a solution. A look at the crisis at the southern border and the recent efforts to address that. As we welcome you inside our WRAL studio here, 8:30 on your Thursday morning. I'm Jeff Hogan.
I'm Ken Smith. We'll enjoy today. Dry conditions. A little chilly tomorrow, but boy, let's get to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with all that rain coming in over the weekend.
Yeah, Saturday looks like a soaker. Sunday's going to be fine, but boy, it's going to be, a day you probably want to spend inside Saturday. But today, get out and enjoy it. This is a live look at Wake Forest. Lots of sunshine. Our temperatures are a little warmer than they were yesterday. We're mainly above freezing, 41 currently in the Triangle area. It is 30 39 in Fayetteville, still 33 in Southern Pines, but 39 Goldsboro, 40 in South Hill. These temperatures for the most part are around 10 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. But tomorrow morning, we're back to cold temperatures well into the 20s. This afternoon, temperatures in the low 50s, so feeling nice with some sunshine. We continue to watch the beginning of this event on Saturday for the potential for some freezing rain. The new model runs that have come in the last 12 hours or so are showing the better chance of that back to the west. A little bit warmer for our area, which would keep us from seeing any freezing rain. Really, even yesterday, it looked like it would only be our northern counties, and it would be very light. That is even looking less likely for today. It is going to be a cold rain, though, for us pretty much all day on Saturday. Take a look at our futurecast freezing rain. Here in pink is where we could see up to a tenth of an inch or so, and you can see that is outside of our viewing area. But keep that in mind if you're planning to travel Saturday off to the west, back toward the mountains. At least early in the day, some roads could be slick back to the west. But for our viewing area, again, there's a slim chance of some brief freezing rain in our northwest counties. That is looking less likely this morning than it was yesterday. We're not likely to see travel issues in our viewing area, but parts of the country could see some significant snow with the system. We'll talk more about that coming up. Ryan?
It's 8:32 right now. I want to update you about this crash on 40 westbound right around Wade Avenue. We're looking from Wade Avenue out toward Harrison, and they have been able to open that center lane. They moved whatever vehicle that was over to the right shoulder. So we have the right shoulder and the median blocked right now. Traffic slowing down a little bit through that area, measuring about a 2-minute delay from Wade Avenue out to 540. But you're going to run into some backups on 40 westbound coming in from the Chapel Hill Road interchange under the Trinity Road Bridge. About a 3-minute delay overall from US 1 to Wade Avenue. Some of that's related to the crash at Wade, some of it with some congestion heading out toward Carytown Boulevard. Just want to keep that in mind there on the west side of Raleigh. Taking a look around the rest of the triangle, our major approaches into Raleigh are looking okay. Some of the earlier delays we've been following on US 1 northbound out of Apex through Cary have cleared up nicely. And as we take a look at your approaches into Durham, we're not picking up any unusual backups. Some of the sun-glare delays have cleared up nicely on the south side of Durham right now. And coming in from Hillsborough on 85 northbound, seeing just a 1-minute delay from I-40 out to the 147 interchange.
5 people led state troopers on a high-speed chase through at least 2 counties, including Wake County.
Yeah, WRAL's Kelsey Coffey reports on the search for 4 of the 5 people involved in that chase.
Right now, the folks at the Highway Patrol here are just working to piece all of this together. I'll walk you through how everything played out. So first, the suspect stole a 2011 Kia Forte out of Johnston County. That's according to state troopers. They say the suspects then used that car to lead police on a high-speed chase. The chase started in Apex and ended on Oak Kelly Chapel Road in Chatham County. At that point, they jumped out of the car and ran into the woods nearby. One of the suspects, a minor, was caught and is behind bars right now. We're working to get an update on whether the 4 other people involved have been arrested. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Well, the North Carolina Sports Betting Committee plans to meet around 10 o'clock this morning. 7 mobile sports betting companies, including FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, and ESPN Bet, applied for a license to accept wagers in North Carolina by the state's initial December 27th deadline. Operators that applied by that date are eligible to take bets on North Carolina's go-live date, which has yet to be set. The Lottery Commission oversees mobile sports betting in our state. Now, in order to obtain a license, operators must have an agreement with certain professional teams, leagues, and venues in North Carolina. North Carolina can authorize a dozen mobile operators. Applications are still being accepted. Mobile sports betting could begin sometime in March, though the Lottery Commission has until June to launch it officially.
Tensions across the Middle East are boiling over. Lauren Green reports on the latest actions contributing to the growing unrest across the Middle East.
As Israeli troops reduce their presence in northern Gaza, we're getting a new glimpse of the wasteland Gaza City resembles after months of intense combat against Hamas terrorists. The IDF is now amplifying its pursuit of Hamas militants in central and southern Gaza, engaging in highly secretive operations in the region's second largest city to further destroy Hamas' network of tunnels.
We are using classified and new means and do not need to reveal our fighting methods to the enemy.
But Israeli forces remain on high alert for a potential surge in attacks from Hezbollah militants along their northern border with Lebanon. This after an Israeli drone killed a senior Hamas leader in the capital city of Beirut Tuesday. It's triggering fears the Israel-Hamas war could worsen into a larger regional conflict.
Opening a new front in Lebanon is incredibly concerning, and the main reason for that is Hezbollah, the powerful Iran-backed militant group that operates out of southern Lebanon and is believed to have an arsenal of at least 150,000 rockets, many of them long-range.
In Iran, crowds chanted "Death to Israel" Wednesday after bombs exploded during a ceremony honoring an Iranian general killed by the U.S. in 2020. The U.S. National Security Council says there's no indication Israel was involved in the attacks that killed dozens. Iran's president is vowing retaliation.
For this crime and the other crimes you commit, you will pay a price.
That was Lauren Green reporting. Meantime, the U.S. and 12 allies gave their last warning to Yemen's Houthi rebels, demanding they stop attacking cargo ships in the Red Sea or risk military action.
A man and his pregnant fiancée say a driver shot at them in a road rage incident in Wake County. It happened 2 weeks ago on Lewisburg Road. The couple says an angry man was tailgating them. They say that man pulled up next to them and opened fire. Bullets missed the driver's head by 2 inches. He tried to shield his fiancée and crashed into a ditch. He says the shooter then pulled over and continued to fire shots at them. 6 bullets hit their truck. The couple says they feel lucky to be alive.
There's a ricochet hole right up in the ceiling right above her head. The only bullet that didn't pass through a door was the one that hit the passenger door where she was sitting.
Well, the couple says the shooter was driving a green Honda Civic. No arrests have been made so far.
Take a look at these fire engines, ambulances, and law enforcement lining bridges over I-40. This is Sky 5 that flew over the interstate during the solemn processional, to escort Sergeant Philip Dale Nix back to Greensboro. The 22-year veteran was shot to death while trying to stop a crime at a Greensboro gas station. His body was escorted from the medical examiner's office in Raleigh back to Greensboro yesterday. Greensboro police say they're grateful for the outpouring of support during this difficult time.
We just ask the community to continue to keep us in their prayers and keep Sergeant Nix's family in their prayers as well.
Nix worked with the Greensboro Police Department for more than 20 years, serving in many leadership roles. Wake County Animal Center is no longer taking animal surrenders, and this could have a trickle-down effect for other area shelters. The shelter says it is a perfect storm here. They're overcapacity, seeing fewer adoptions. More people are trying to turn in animals, and they're finding more strays out there. 20% of their intake are owner surrenders. Rescue groups now feel they'll be inundated with those animals, and they don't have the resources to help. They're also worried more dogs will now be dropped off and discarded, causing an even bigger issue.
Well, coming up at 8:40 now, a sentencing hearing in Las Vegas turned chaotic after a man was denied probation. A look at the violent scene captured on video next.
Plus, a 13-year-old boy from Oklahoma beats a classic video game that many thought was impossible to conquer.
Welcome back at 8:42. We look live at North Hills this morning. That beautiful Carolina blue sky hanging over the capital city this morning. Let's go over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking our big picture and what the forecast is going to be like today and the rest of the week.
Pretty views everywhere. We'll take a live look at Wake Forest. It looks like this with the beautiful blue skies all across our viewing area. We'll see this for the rest of the day today. Now, late tomorrow, we'll likely see the clouds thickening up as we're watching that system that'll arrive for Saturday. We're going to talk more about that coming up. But heading out the door right now, it's 41 degrees, which is about 10 degrees warmer than it was this time yesterday. But tomorrow, our temperatures will fall again. We've seen our winds shifting to northwesterly, and gradually tonight, we'll start to feel the colder air. It's pretty chilly in Southern Pines at 33, but our temperatures will start to climb now as the sun's been up for a little while. It's 40 in Goldsboro and Rocky Mount. It's 37 in Roxborough, 39 South Hill, 39 in Fayetteville. But again, temperatures anywhere from 8 to 12, 13 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. Around town, nice afternoon for us. 51 in Raleigh, 50 in Durham, 53 degrees in Fayetteville. We take a look at satellite and radar. That rain from last night zipping right on out of here. I would say, you know, we need the rain, but I think we've gotten to the point we don't necessarily need so much rain. And we're definitely going to see Saturday and again Tuesday. Tuesdays looks pretty heavy. And we'll talk more about that in a second. 32 is our normal low. We'll be much colder than that for tonight as we drop down to 25. And that's the temperature you'll feel as you're heading out the door in most places in the morning. Saturday, we've been able to bump the temperature up a little bit from 28 to 30. We're starting to see more warm air arriving with the rain that's coming in on Saturday. And that decreases our chance for any freezing rain. So 51 today, 47 Friday, increasing clouds and rain that starts early Saturday and continues all the way until around 9 or 10 o'clock. It's going to be a wet and cool day on Saturday with a high of 51. Yesterday, it looked like our temperatures could be a little colder. So north and west of I-85, we could start with a little bit of light freezing rain. That looks less likely today. We're not expecting impacts here. We'll see a cold rain all day across our area. But that system is going to be pretty beefy, and it will cause some issues potentially to our west. You can see this is a look at who has the best chance of a 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain, and definitely the mountains, the Piedmont, up toward Roanoke, and then we'll likely see snow west of that and up to the north and east. So that could cause some travel problems, but not for us. This 5% chance is actually outside of our viewing area. And take a look at our temperatures again on the cool side tomorrow with a cold start in the morning. And again, with 30 degrees, it's something that we'll watch closely Saturday morning. But again, our chances for freezing rain looking much less likely. Sunday looks like a nice day, partly cloudy with some sunshine. Tuesday, we'll be watching closely. It's warm, 66 degrees. There could be some scattered storms and a lot of rain that could cause flooding. So we'll keep watching that.
Thanks for that, Elizabeth. This is video you need to see to believe. An attack on a Nevada judge. Defendant Delone Redden jumps right over the bench right there, landing on top of the judge. Redden was being sentenced for an aggravated battery charge and had entered a plea of guilty during the hearing. But after being denied bail, Redden could be seen attacking that judge. She was hurt. She had some injuries. Condition is being monitored. A marshal involved in the incident was hospitalized after the attack. Redden is expected to face additional charges now.
Carolina Panthers owner David Tepper was fined $300,000 for throwing a drink at a Jacksonville Jaguars fan during Sunday's game in Jacksonville. He since issued an apology for his behavior, but we wanted to put this fine into context for you. Tepper's net worth is estimated at $20.6 billion. The $300,000 fine is equivalent of fining someone who makes roughly $60,000, just 87 cents for that infraction.
Agreeing on a problem doesn't necessarily mean you agree on the solution, and the crisis at the southern border makes that clear as there are recent efforts to address it. Drew Petremol gives us a closer look at the negotiations.
With migrants overwhelming small towns and big cities alike, 60 House Republicans head to the southern border to highlight what they say are failures of the Biden administration.
What we saw today only made House Republicans more resolved to stand for sanity and the American people.
A record-setting 300,000 immigrants crossed the border last month, and Republicans are pushing for a return to the harsh Trump-era policies criticized by immigrant rights groups.
The solution is to go back to the policies that work.
While also promising to begin impeachment hearings against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas over the border crisis.
The greatest domestic threat to the national security and the safety of the American people is Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas.
We've been dealing with a broken immigration system for decades.
Mayorkas defending administration policies at the border, saying Republicans have refused to cooperate on a solution.
Our administration under President Biden's leadership has fought for that long-needed fix since day one, when President Biden, on the very first day of his administration, submitted a comprehensive immigration reform bill to Congress.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says a bipartisan group of senators is close to a border deal, while they also work to pass a budget deal that avoids a government shutdown and secures aid for Israel and Ukraine.
As Drew Petremol reporting, the Biden administration slammed Speaker Johnson for traveling to the border for a political stunt instead of staying in New York, or in Washington, I should say, to work on a solution. When Congress returns to work next week, lawmakers have to deal with those funding issues.
Well, the pushback against the proposed Buc-ee's in Mebane is intensifying. Community groups brought a petition with more than 1,100 signatures to City Council, urging them to reject the development. Buc-ee's is proposing building a $75,000 square foot facility on 32 acres. Buc-ee's is a massive gas station restaurant complex found in other parts of the country. Those against the development have concerns about the quality of life and the environment.
And we also want to make sure that the water table is protected, and we don't want this big slab of concrete on top of these wetlands and the floodplain area.
Well, we should note there is also a petition circulating in favor of the development, calling on the City Council to approve it. That change.org letter has more than 800 signatures. Many people cite the increase in jobs as a major reason to bring the company to North Carolina.
The parents of a very fortunate kid are sharing an update on his condition following a partial heart transplant. Owen Monroe is a year and a half old now. He is playful, curious, living his best life, a healthy toddler. But 20 months ago, he became the first person in the world to receive a partial heart transplant. It was a medical breakthrough performed by the doctors at Duke. Doctors say transplanted heart valves should grow with Owen as he grows, and she should never need another operation. Owen's mom says his progress has been remarkable.
It's the most terrifying feeling you can ever imagine, being told that, one, your son is here and that's great, but two, he might not make it to see the next day. It's really the greatest gift, knowing how precious life is. And I think because of the situation, Nick and I truly don't take a day with him for granted.
And what's amazing about the work Duke is doing, since Owen's surgery, there have been 12 other partial heart transplants in the world, and they've been performed on children, 9 of them at Duke.
Look at him go. Well, a horror movie in theaters and a new action-packed series streaming are all part of new releases for the new year. Ashley Dvorkin with a look at what's new in theaters and streaming this week.
Producers Jason Blum and James Wan invite horror fans to jump into the deep end with Night Swim. The thriller unfolds as a family finds dark supernatural forces lurking in the swimming pool of their new home.
I don't remember.
Jessica Chastain and Peter Sarsgaard lead Memory. The drama is about a social worker and single mother looking to forget past trauma and her connection with a man with early onset dementia who follows her home from their high school reunion.
You must miss him. It's complicated.
On Netflix, Dan Levy wrote and stars in his feature film directorial debut, Good Grief. Levy plays a widower grieving the sudden death of his husband, who goes on a trip to Paris with friends, where they all face truths about their lives in order to heal.
The family is under attack.
The streamer also adds The Brother's Son with Michelle Yeoh, Justin Chien, and Sam Lee. The action-packed series is about a brother protecting his family after his father, the head of a Taiwanese triad, is shot by an assassin.
That gun will never win against me.
A couple films in theaters, on demand, and digital include real-life-inspired Race for Glory, Audi versus Lancia, based on the 1983 Rally World Championships.
Well, I hold a brick in my hand.
Plus, The Bricklayer with Aaron Eckhart, about a CIA operative lured out of retirement to take on an insurgent blackmailing the agency.
You were CIA like my mom.
In select theaters and digital, January 9th is another ex-spy thrown back into action story, The Painter, starring Charlie Weber, John Voight, and Madison Bailey, about a former CIA operative back in a dangerous world when a woman from his past resurfaces. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
A lot of action there, and this sweetness, a very good boy in Chapel Hill, won this year's Paws for People's Dog of the Year competition in North Carolina. Remington is his name, rehab facility dog that works alongside his handler, Terry Joe Rachinsky, who is an athletic trainer for the UNC Chapel Hill baseball team and physical therapist for Campus Health Services. The nonprofit says Remington assists with treatments and is a source of joy. Remington received more than 14,000 votes. The contest raised $32,000 for Paws for People.
You can totally see why he won.
Cute pup.
Yeah.
An Oklahoma teen has accomplished something no human has ever done before, beating the original Tetris.
Yeah, 13-year-old Willis Gibson shared the moment he reached the game's kill screen on YouTube Tuesday. Look at that reaction. His score was 999,999 when he reached level 157, but the screen showed level 18 due to the code not being designed to reach so high.
He broke it. Gibson started playing Tetris competitively in 2021, says he likes the game's simplicity. He finished third in the 23 Classic Tetris World Championship, but he says his goal is to now win it all.
Yeah, it's back in 1984 it was created.
I can't believe
old school.
It is.
Another check of weather and traffic next.